So I was speaking to a chief executive this week who said that his biggest regret of late was signing a lease for new office space in central London at the end of last year. And I went to speak to Simon Craven to ask his advice on what he thought would happen to central London and whether that was, in fact, a really, really terrible idea. And unfortunately, Simon did think it probably was. Simon's concern about central London in the next few months, possibly years, is the impact not just of the social distancing on the professional services workers who operate in businesses like this, but actually in all of the support teams, all of the support workers that it takes to make business centres like this work. The cooks and the cleaners and the serving staff and the security and all those people that will be struggling to get into work. Over 1 million people a day come into London through those transport hubs, the big stations, and we can't replace that with cars. We don't have enough parking spaces. And walking and cycling, yes, all right, some people, if they're local, can do that, but it's not going to solve the problem of the lack of transport at scale. Now, of course, this could be a real boon for offices and businesses that are based out of London. They may have more access to parking, they may have larger spaces to start with that people can work from. But for businesses that are in London, they now have to make really difficult decisions. Are they going to operate offices as hubs? Which are the essential workers that should be back? How are they going to organise space? How much perspex do they need in order to make those offices safe? And we don't know the answers. We don't know how long this is going to go on for, and we don't really have a framework in which to make those decisions. Thinking about this brought me back to Margaret Heffernan's book, which she published rather wisely, as it turns out, at the end of last year, called Uncharted: How We Map the Future Together. And the book explores the failures of much of the forecasting and planning that many of us have used for many years, which reminded me of 2016 at Davos, when there were no risk reports on either Trump or Brexit being voted for, and of course the following year there were many of them. Now, she looks at the things that don't work, but she also explores things that do seem to work better and help inform our decision making. And the one that leaps out as really sensible at this moment is scenario planning. How do we build realistic and practical scenarios of what might happen next? Not as a way to foretell the future, we're not fortune telling here, but as a way to think about the decisions we might make, the values, some of the consequences, intended or not, of decisions. And what strikes me about that is that to do it properly, you need real insight and real research into what people are thinking and what they're likely to do. And one of the things that we're lacking at this moment are all of those small social interactions that give us a huge amount of intelligence. Those micro chats on the way into the office, on the way to the train station or the car park, the little pieces of information that we're picking up all of the time. One of the ways to replace that is through research, and we can look at mass research. Carrion Box has done an amazing piece this week. It's based on surveys of 75,000 British employees over the last couple of months. And one of the things that comes out of it very strongly is that 24% say they never want to go back to working in the office again. And that may resonate with those of you that have really quite enjoyed lockdown, quite happy pottering around your garden. But PwC has also put out research this week showing that 22% of Londoners never want to work at home again. So we've got a real tension there, and understanding the different groups, their motivations and what they're going to respond to and what they need to be productive is going to be really, really important. The question comes back to, is London dead or not? And we don't know the answer, but it could be, as the estate agents have opened, that this is the weekend to have a look at some serious country house property porn. Let's have a look.